Hi guys, welcome to the little wood shop again. So I'm going to change the format of the videos a little bit. I changed in the last year that I've been doing the YouTube videos. My idea was to show you how I do stuff, and it ended up the last few videos that I watched, it's more what I'm doing, not how I'm doing it. So I'm going to change a bit, put more detail into the videos, and I hope that you will enjoy it. Tell me what you think. So for this week we're going to cut for Jan Kutsie, my friend. We're going to do a bunch of finger joints again, both 2 boxes for him. Then for another customer I'm going to cut 8 mortises in legs he turned, beautiful legs he turned. And then Kunrad also wants to come and cut some ash. I'm going to plane and finish that for him so he can put some shelves in his wife's office. And we'll see what the rest of the week delivers. So guys, enjoy. What I'm busy with, I'm going to start with now at the moment quickly. I've got a customer that builds replica little cannons. This one is specifically a little mountain cannon that he's doing for a museum or something. And I'm just going to cut the shapes of the blocks out for him that he marked for me on the bandsaw. I'm going to ask him to send us a picture once he's done with this so you can see what it looks like. It's actually quite amazing, the replicas they build. But I'm quickly going to cut this on the bandsaw. Then Kunrad is on his way. We're busy out of ash making for him tops basically on a divider wall. And we're also busy with that. I'll show you a bit later. And then guys, the 2 blocks for the cannons, finish cutting them. Now the customer will do the final work and then cut out wherever the wheels will go in. This is apparently where the blocks go in. They stand apart, where the barrel will lie this way, in between. So I just did the cuts for him because he doesn't have a bandsaw. And let's see if he will send us a picture. So guys, this is the ash I'm talking about. We're making for Kunrad some tops on the divider wall. And we had to laminate it because we couldn't get wide enough pieces. So it's all laminated now, and we're just gonna put an extra piece on the edge just to make it look thicker around. Do some cutouts, and maybe Kunrad will show us once it's done what it looks like. Let's do some sanding. So guys, to explain the dado stack easier, if you measure the width of your stack the way you packed them, in this case I packed them just over 15 millimeters. So it's 5/16 I think, it's 15.8 millimeters. That's the width of my stack. Then the difference or the distance of your block to the blade must be the same, and then as well as the width of your block. So that's the crucial measurements when doing a dado stack. The width of your stack, the distance to the block, and then the width of the block must all be the same. So guys, let's cut and see if it works. This one is then supposed to fit into this board like that, and it works. It's set up properly. Now guys, I must be honest with you, the first one wasn't that easy. What I noticed is that the first box, it was very stiff, so I added a little shim of 0.5 millimeters to the dado stack, and that just opened it enough so that it's a tight fit, but I don't have to hammer it in. I think that's not too bad. So guys, this is how I finished this board. I've cut from that direction and then stepped on until the last cut. Now in order to cut the board that matches with this one, I take this one, flip it around to start with a full tenon, put this one up against. Because it's difficult to hold both of them while I'm cutting, once I've pushed this one up against this one, I hold this one, remove this board, start the machine and start the cut. That ensures that the box's edges line up perfectly. Let's cut this one. So guys, one last thing concerning the setup of the dado stack and your jig. Remember, I added a 0.05 millimeters shim in to widen it, which means the maths is not right anymore on the jig. All I did is I concentrated on keeping pressure on the inside of the pin, your guide pin, or I don't know what you call this. I suppose we'll call it the guide pin. I don't know if you see that, but that difference is quite a lot when it comes to finger joints. So just by concentrating on keeping it up against the side the whole time when I'm cutting, as I'm cutting through, it actually makes up for that, and I got some nice fits. So if you make the same mistake I make, or lazy like I am, don't want to make a new jig, just concentrate on keeping it up to the one side of your pin. Let the gap be on the other side. Guys, this is then probably one of the smoothest boxes I've put together so far, just by putting in a little bit of effort and fine-tuning the dado stack. There's a very thin slither on the tops of these, so I'll have to glue them very nicely to stop them from breaking out, but it fits like nothing else. It's a nice fit. No big gaps, no big tear out, little bit of sanding. Like I always do, I just make the tenons or the holes a little bit deeper so that the tongues protrude quarter of a millimeter, so I just can sand them flush. Rather too long than too short. Morning guys. So the boxes for Jan Coetzee is finished. I delivered them yesterday. He's happy with the boxes. And that project is now done. Quick project for today is another friend of mine. You'll remember about a year ago I did a piano conversion for a guy into a wine bar. James, he phoned me this week and said one of his window frames went rotten. So as you can see, the whole thing is falling apart, and they tried to fix it before but it didn't work. So I went this morning quickly, took it out, removed it, and then brought it home. So I'm gonna see if I can fix it. I've got a nice board of Maranti, which is the same wood this is made from. And first things first, I'm gonna remove the glass, because the budget doesn't include a pane of glass like this. So I'm gonna quickly remove the glass and then see if I can replace the bottom side, and the one side is very rotten. And maybe if push comes to shove, we'll remake the whole frame. But I would like to save what I can, and I think these two are quite good. I just want to replace the bottom and the side. For now, we'll see once we start disassembling what the rest of this looks like. Let's start disassembling. So guys, I got these apart, and in the end I think I'm gonna remake the whole frame, because the bottom is totally rotten, the tenon is gone. The sides, they've repaired in such a way that for me to fix it, it's not gonna look good. But my main problem is I don't have a profile or a router bit to cut that profile. I do have a raised panel profile, but it won't be able to leave a tenon. So I'm gonna remake it from scratch and put proper tenons in, and then try and copy the profile as close as I can to what this is. So I quickly chopped up the board of Maranti that I got, and I'm going to put it through the planer, get it to 45 millimeters, that's the height I've got here, and just start making some stuff. Guys, I've got the base of the frame ripped. It's all rough now at the moment. What I'm going to do now at the moment, I'm going to do mortise and tenons on all four corners, making sure that my width and my height ends up exactly what the old frame was. In other words, 610 millimeters by 1015 millimeters outside to outside, 610 outside to outside width. So first I'm going to put the dado stack back into the table saw and quickly cut the tenons so that we can get the base frame done. So guys, sorry, when it's raining I'm not recording because you won't be able to hear anything. Got a nice break in between now. So I've cut the tenons on the dado stack, and then I mark my mortises, you can call it that. I mark them, and then I cut it on the bandsaw and I finish it off with a chisel. So it's a through mortise and tenon, and it's an open mortise and tenon, which I don't like very much, but that's what the old frame was, and that's what I'm doing because that's what my equipment allows me to do. I'm just going to quickly cut the other rail, the two mortises, and then I'll show you how we put this together. So last night I finished the window frame for James, my customer. It was raining cats and dogs, so I didn't record much here in the shop. Kunrad, my friend, came along and he gave me a hand finishing it, and then we also cut for him a bunch of stock for picture frames that he wants to make. What I'm doing now at the moment is I'm helping another customer quickly. He turned a beautiful set of legs, table legs, and he can't cut the mortise holes. So I'm going to quickly cut the mortise holes. The half-inch bit on my mortising machine, I broke it. So I don't have a bit for my mortising machine. I'm cutting these with a router quickly. I'm using extended router bits, which you get from Trend. They are quite a bit longer than your standard router bit, but still a 1/4 inch shaft. So I use my trusty old Ilu router with a fence on it and just quickly cut the mortises. I'm making them 40 millimeters deep, and it's a messy job. It's a dusty job. So Sasha is helping me with a vacuum cleaner. Let me show you how I cut them.